Starting them up the strooms. Starting them up the strooms. Starting them up the strooms. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, twerkers, jerkers, and lurkers, witches, liches, and bitches? It is time once again for Johnston Blackhorse does the Drarwringz with your host, me, Johnston Blackhorse, the one and only, and I'm here to do the Drarwringz. Yeah. Not as much energy this morning because I woke up early and I still feel a little groggy, but let's get her done, right? Let's pick up let's pull up some spooky stories. Okay. Oh, that's not. Okay, that's not blasting anybody's ears out. Let me. No, still sort of blasting my ears. There's my lovely moderator. Honk. Honk.
Hey Schizos. I wanted to ask you something that I'm sure has been asked 100 times before. What's the scariest experience you've ever had? Something spooky that's happened to you and that you still remember to this day. I'll start off by telling a very tame experience. I live in an apartment, on the highest floor. I have a window in front of my desk, facing the next building's rooftop. One night, I saw a human figure standing straight ahead, on the rooftop, looking directly at me. Somewhat startled, I was trying to figure out what a guy was doing at 2 a.m., on a Monday night, standing on the rooftop of a building, staring at me. Maybe 10 seconds went by, and poof. It just disappeared. Maybe it was just a guy smoking a late-night cig, and he just hid, embarrassed. But then again, he just vanished. Anyway, scariest shit I've ever seen, pick somewhat related. How about you, /x/? No bullshit, well, maybe a little bullshit, but only if entertaining. Be me. 19. Happened around 4 months ago. Sitting in the living room playing a video game. Look at the clock. 1 a.m. Shit, I got time for one more game before bed. Get pissed off at people playing Rainbow Six. Rage quit. Look at clock. 4 a.m. Shitpants.jpg. I'm probably just a retard. Go to sleep. Wake up later that day. Weird rash/mark on hand. What the shit? Wait for weird things to happen. A couple of small indiscrepancies occur. See shadows in field behind house from time to time. Concerned.avi. In 2017, MIBS kidnapped me from McDonald's and interviewed me for 2 hours at some place near the airport. It was about a UFO I saw and posted about on /x/. They made me repeat it was a plane, probably an Airbus, at least 50 times during the interview, then another 20 times before I could leave. Be a child. Won't go to bed for some reason. Parents leave me in the living room out of frustration. Spooky shadows lingering in bedroom all night long that I can see from the living room. Girlfriend keeps hearing voices. Same house, different room. Get seance shit and start recording with hi-fi digital devices. GF hears a specific phrase that showed up on electronic recordings. Visual in some background layer on FL Studio's spectralizer and barely audible. Matched perfectly up with what my girlfriend heard and responded to our questions. Later on, same room. Playing video all night. Spooky home alone at dead time, 3 a.m.
God, this narration. Is it too monotone? Is it too robotic?
Scream comes from right next to me and circles around to the other ear. Frozen solid in fear with goosebumps. Just have to play it cool. No one in the house but me. Around 2 a.m. Go to shop for a beer and cigs. Leaves next to a big cemetery, so always my route. In front of one of the gates,
Yeah, it sounds really
the
dated.
street, there's a guy standing. Didn't expect nobody, but okay, I'm a big guy. As I get close, he's just standing there, shaking his head like he had Parkinson. WTF, but okay, go anyway. Didn't acknowledge me. He never looked away from the cemetery, or moved an inch. Just standing there shaking his head weirdly. Probably a junkie or something, but man, that was weird. He wasn't there when I came back, like 10 minutes later. I had an episode of sleep paralysis. Only 7 years later would I find out it was something much, much more sinister. Around 2010 I had several episodes of sleep paralysis. One terrified me so much, I will never ever forget it. I was lying in my bed and woke up. Couldn't move, and I had this feeling of primordial dread I have never ever felt before. I heard the stairs creaking and knew something was coming for me and was almost shitting myself in fear. I saw a long-fingered slender hand slowly push open my door. It had really long nails. I short-circuited in fear and actually woke up. The episodes came and went and stopped after a few months. Most were weird, by nothing as absolutely terrifying as the one I described. Fast forward about 7 years. My life was in the shitter. I was a 27-year-old slacker, still studying a degree that takes 3 years. My mom was depressed and unemployed since about early 2011. She got into debt and put under custody by a lawyer to pay back debts. We got evicted for not paying rent and ended up in social housing. In December of 2017 my mom started acting weird. She started throwing up a lot and slept many hours a day. But I was too busy smoking weed and stuck in my own little downward spiral. One day she started looking yellow. Her skin, her eyes. I told her to go to a doctor, but she refused. The next morning she looked really bad and called an ambulance. They examined her in the hospital. Turns out she had late-stage breast cancer. It spread to her bones and liver. She died the next morning.
Yep. Had something to do, like the liver being affected. If you start going yellow, like your skin and your eyes, it's got something to do with your liver. And it comes on quick. Right? It's her own damn fault, man. Must be American, right? Like fucking, like, no, I'm better off dying in poverty than going to the hospital only to get more impoverished. Yeah, that fucking sucks. But yeah, must be must be an American.
Turns out, the day we moved into social
Yellow? I don't know. I guess, could you go yellow from kidney failure? I have no idea. I just like hear like a lot of like kidney failure stories where people are going yellow. And it's always linked to the liver.
Housing. In July of
Millie's been checked.
2017, she found a knob on her breast. She knew it was cancer and deliberately did nothing. I guess it was the final straw. She let it run its course. You could say she killed herself with cancer. Enter my dad. They were long divorced. My dad was always a kind of spiritual guy, and helped us out after Mom died at our social home. Take care of the funeral, clean house, stuff like that. Just so we wouldn't be alone. A few days after my mom died, I get a phone call from my dad. He was in an absolute panic, begging me to get out of the house. My dad is a very calm and collected person. I've never heard him like this. It freaked me the hell out. He was frantic. It was for reasons he couldn't explain right now. I said okay and stayed with friends for a couple of days until after the funeral. After that, he sat me down and explained everything to me. Now, I'm not into spiritual mumbo-jumbo, by any means, and was already bracing for a heap of nonsense. He knew this medium/water healer lady that he contacted after being at our house in the days after Mom died. While I was away one day and he stayed to clean up, the kitchen door leading up to the stairs opened suddenly. There was no draft, and that door had never done that. Dad said he felt a weird presence and looked up the stairwell. He swears he saw a shadowy figure stand at the top in the darkness. So he contacted this water healer lady, who apparently was a very special person, according to him, that was born with a gift that let her see and feel energy, even from a distance. My dad explained it to her and she did some spiritual digging at my place, so to say. She told my dad it was very bad and that everyone should leave the house until it was cleansed. My dad told me, he had a dream the day my mother died, of my mother laid to bare in a living room of sorts with a white/black square pattern on the floor. And there were entities swarming around her, gray, nasty looking, with long slender hands and fangs. Now, my dad had never been to our new home before, and I had never sent pictures. This was strange, because our living room exactly had that floor pattern. He couldn't have known this that day. Enter Healing Lattice explanation. She explains there are bad entities, which form a parasitic bond with people. It feeds on misery. But not these entities. They make you sick, make you suffer mentally and physically till you die. Which is out of the ordinary, since most entities can't feed off you when you die. But these don't give a shit and kill you eventually, and find new victims. Healing Lady asked if she may contact me for further details. I agreed. She asked me if my mother ever visited a big domain with a castle. My town has exactly one like that, as a matter of fact. From the Middle Ages. I said yeah, there is a fair there each year and my mother visited it every few years. She then explained to me that domains like that used to have a torture well. Basically, they threw your ass in there and let you rot, while still alive. That domain had one, according to her. She said that people who die a violent, painful death that according to them is unjust can't move on and turn into these messed up entities that dwell this earth and latch on to people, perpetuating suffering. So according to her, my mom got one of these things to latch onto her. She also asked if my mother was with friends the days she visited that fair. I remembered that one time she went with her best friend. Her best friend, who as of 2016 died of breast cancer. I was perplexed and honestly was like, yeah, I'm sure, okay, thanks I guess. I didn't pay it much mind. But then things started falling into place, the more I thought about it. She visited that fair with her best friend in 2010. And I looked into it, and yes, the domain used to have a torture well almost smack in the middle of the fairgrounds. I started having these sleep paralysis episodes in 2010. That one night I experienced such fear that I never, ever experienced before. The long, slender grayish hand that slowly opened my door.
Oh. Yeah. Yellow skin can also be hepatitis. Oh. Oh. Ugh. I feel like I'm gonna have to take a nap sometime today, but I got class at 9. Ugh. Boo. Oh, feels so good to not have to like air up my tires every morning. Well, I gotta check the tire pressure sometime today, but from the looks of it, it doesn't look like the tire that I've been having issues with is going flat. So it doesn't look like it's leaking air at all. Like every morning I had to like fill it with air, but or I'd have to fill it with air every time before heading out to go run an errand. It feels pretty nice to like not have to worry about it. That I could just like get up and go whenever without having to turn on the air compressor and check the tire pressure and fill it up and also the headlights are still working, so that's good. I still need to get those running lights though. I thought I did. Here, let me show you the lights that I got. It's like I looked up running lights and these were the lights that I got, and I thought these were them. I should have like taken the headlight apart to confirm. I'm going to go ahead and open these. But when I was looking up parts, it said it would fit my Escalade, but I have no idea where these bulbs go. I'm wondering if they go in like maybe the tail light, or maybe the fog lights. I have no idea. But yeah, I got to get those running lights. Oh, I guess these are headlights for maybe some other vehicle. I don't know. It has an illustration here of a car with headlights, and right there, that's the headlight beam, and like saying like 30% more. So I guess these are headlights for a different vehicle, but for some reason, when I looked up like running lights for the Escalade, those were the ones that came up. And when I pulled up the page, it said like, yeah, this will fit your Escalade. I'm like, really? I'm looking at it, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Melody says these I imagine fit a lot of GM vehicles of the same class. Probably, like maybe they do go into like one of the other lights, maybe fog light or tail light. So I may as well just keep it, just in case. But yeah, feels good to like have working headlights again, so I can do night driving when needed. But I kind of want to get those running headlights, those running lights, but I guess I don't really need them. So I'm wondering if I should do that dono stream soon. But let me wait for that HughesNet money to come in and my tuition bump. We'll see after that. That should be sometime in the next couple of weeks. I'm hoping to get that tuition bump next week, because next week is midterms. And I remember last semester I got my tuition bump like a little after midterms. But that was going through the mail. But now that I've set up direct deposit, I'm hoping come next week that stuff just gets dropped in my account. And the HughesNet money should come in, I guess, 1.5 weeks from now. So, yeah, we'll wait for that. So maybe that will help me get some new running lights. I could probably go to like a auto parts store and pick up a set. But from my experience from buying these headlights, like freaking auto parts stores just like jack up the price crazy. Anyway, we'll see.
The same my father described in his dream the night my mother died.
Oh, you meant vehicles like the Chevy Yukon, etc.? Yeah, probably. I don't know why. Let me check really quick. Like, did I misunderstand it when I got these bulbs? Oh, it says this product fits only if following criteria are met. Position high beam. What? I don't get it. Huh. I don't understand.
Died. My mother lost the lust for life starting then. She became depressed. Gave up her job. She didn't work from early 2011 and onwards. Depended on state gigs from then on. Apparently I was to be the next target, after they had quite literally consumed my mother. Water Lady cleansed me, by treating me with water she blessed. It took almost 3 hours. And no, she didn't charge a penny. She said she had only encountered this once so far. That was in early 2018. Since then I graduated, have a steady job, stopped smoking weed, bought a house, got a girlfriend and have a kid on the way. All this in 2 years' time. So yeah, I'm thinking I dodged some messed up shit. My mother didn't. Make of this what you will. I want to add.
Like I was looking at the old headlights that I took out. That one's still good. This is the one that got burnt out. Don't know if you can like really see that. Like right there in the middle, it's all black. And like looking at these bulbs, I was like wondering, like, because when I pulled up the image of this bulb, it's like sitting in some sort of like adapter. So I'm like wondering, like, oh, does this pop out? But I don't think it does. But it looks like there's some sort of like other piece that this thing sits in. So I'm wondering if there's like some sort of adapter that you use to like kind of like mimic this. I don't know. But when I pulled up this product's page again, like it says it fits the Escalade if it's met with a certain criteria. So I'm wondering, like, oh, maybe I was supposed to get like the adapter or something for this thing that it sits in, so it somehow like mimics this thing. But I don't know. But I was looking for running headlights, and now that I know what they look like, I can probably pick them up at some auto parts store once my HughesNet and tuition money gets here. And then I'll do a dono stream for gas money. I hope my tuition bump gets here next week. Anyway.
This cleansing ritual was something special too. She filled a big plastic tub of water, while I was standing in the bath with my swimming trunks on. The water was hot too. And after about an hour of continually throwing water over me and making me rub myself with it, something strange happened. I get really cold and started shaking like a leaf. At the same time, massive amounts of steam/water vapor rose from all over my body. The temperature didn't change in the room, the water had been the same temperature all along too. Absolutely mind-boggling. And as I looked down, the water that gathered in at my feet had a yellowish hue. I just can't explain it. I really believe this lady was legit. She told me I was their next target and they had already been preparing me by making an entry in my aura at my lower right back. This completely flummoxed me because I distinctly remember experiencing a very sharp pain at that precise location a month before my mother died. I hadn't mentioned this to anyone before. I honestly believed I had gotten a hernia, but the pain subsided after 2 days. Be me. 16 years old, snuck out to smoke weed with friends. Friend and I waiting by the church since we waiting for our third friend sneak out. 1 a.m., sitting in front of church with friend. Friend says, "You'll look over there, is that him?" I look up and just see girl holding a thick book, long hair, can't see her face but was wearing a dress. Simply strolls right on front of us, passing us, and goes towards back of church. Friend and I get spooked and try to see where she went after she passed us. Walk over to the side of the church, she's gone. Never talk about this again. Still don't understand what I saw to this day. The figure made no contact with us and it seemed like she just vanished. Made no sense why somebody would be outside at 1 a.m. with a big book and a dress with no pockets by a church. Pic sorta related as her dress looked a lot older. Feeling like I've seen beyond the veil is the most terrifying experience I could have. I had 2 incidents within 2 days that shattered my sense of reality. LOL. I was on a trip out of state, staying with a girl that I've known online for most of my life but never met. I was there all month, and these 2 incidents happened in the last couple days before I left for home. We smoked and drank a little one night, which isn't anything I'm not used to. We were having a good night, just vibing to music and stuff, and were starting to get a little sexual like we'd been a few times during the trip. Then this weird sense of conscious anxiety came over me, like there was something else inhabiting my mental head space. Then slowly and steadily it grew into this feeling like there was some kind of heavy presence in either the room that I just didn't have the sense to see, or right on the other side of the physical world, as lame as that sounds. The feeling felt like it was centered in the girl I was with, like there was some kind of sucking vacuum feeling coming from her that was tugging on my thoughts. Like this weird, very physical but entirely mental feeling, what I'd refer to as soul sucking if that didn't sound so stupid. It got strong enough to the point where it felt like there was a mental black hole right in front of me coming from her, and
Sorry, I'm just messaging my sister. I guess she's looking for work. I thought she was already like working at like a manufacturing warehouse where they build like computerized components or electronic components. I can't remember for what, but I thought she was already working. But she's like looking for a job, and she says she'll just like sell fry bread and stuff from like food from home and artwork. Um, I said I was gonna send her some links to, like sell artwork at, but I really don't know. Like the place where I was selling my artwork and getting a lot of business was Furby, but that's fucking done and gone. So I don't know. The only thing I can think of is that she just move in with me in my cabin. Is like sure there's still parts of it that are undone and it's like cluttered up, but we can move some stuff around, throw some junk away. Because there's just like a lot of, I guess you would call it well, I guess not quite memorabilia, but I don't know. My mom's one of those people that like puts stuff aside that could be used later for some random purpose. So yeah, she's kind of a hoarder. But I think as long as we can get rid of some of this stuff, move some junk around, we there's enough space for another bed and a desk if my sister needs it. Because I know she told me that she's going to be like $500 short on rent. I figured like as long as she works and whatever, she can make that up. But judging from this post, it sounds like she doesn't have a job anymore. I mean, damn. So I'm thinking like maybe she should just move into my cabin with me, and I don't know, she could like sling food on the side of the road like I was doing. And then like probably work on she'll have more time and opportunity to work on her artwork out here. Fuck, I don't know. But I'm just throwing it out there to see what she says. But it sounds like she's struggling. I don't know what happened to her position at that manufacturing warehouse. Because there's no way she can go back to like that aluminum press work she was doing. Because her body isn't up to task anymore. Especially after like being so long out of the game and her back injury from that fucking shithead that crashed into her. I don't know. We'll see what she says.
I had to straight up get out of bed and get a few feet away as I felt like I was getting pulled into something. It terrified me in a way that I really hadn't felt since I was a real little kid afraid of something that I couldn't comprehend. I noped out and gave some anxiety attack excuse, then split out of the apartment to go for a walk, just to get away. I felt better the further away I got, even though I felt like that black hole feeling was still following me. Walked like an hour or so before it eventually stopped. I'll continue if anybody's interested. Oops, I fell asleep. Definitely wasn't just some social anxiety kick, it wasn't the first time we were getting sexual on the trip. This was at the end of a month-long stay. The second big freak out, for lack of better term, was the next day after the first one. I felt the same sort of soul-sucking void come over me, and it was just while I was playing a game while girl watched. I tried to just write it off as a bad feeling, but like the time before, it just started to grow. It felt almost like there was some kind of big heat source just a few feet from me, even though it was all inside me. It felt like heat, but mentally, if that makes any sense. I had this gnawing feeling of helplessness and futility, like I was losing a fight or something. And it got to the point where things started to swirl. Not swirl like, just got all dizzy, but legitimately swirl like a clockwise spiral. My continual visual snow I have was slowly twisting and rotating in a clockwise spiral pattern, and my sense of balance was off and I felt like I was rotating in the same direction. I got up, kind of made the same weak excuse about an anxiety attack, and basically just left for another multi-hour walk. As soon as I got a little distance away from the girl I was staying with, things started to clear zero up, but majority of the people I ran into on the walk felt the same as she did. Like there was some kind of strong pull on my consciousness from them, and as if lingering too long or letting them strike up too long of a conversation was letting that black hole feeling grow again. I distinctly remember a conversation I had with some guy outside a church I was walking past. He was speaking absolute nonsense. He out of nowhere started giving me directions to some place that made no sense. Down a river bank, walking under the highway till I reached the Colorado River, taking a right past a tool shed. I was in Oklahoma. This guy making this nonsense and legitimately mind-numbing conversation wasn't some drunkard or homeless guy either. He seemed to me like some kind of ex-cop or firefighter or something, and he claimed to be a preacher at the church. Why I remember this so vividly was that it wasn't until I'd been listening and just nodding along to these weird directions for a few minutes that I realized it was just utter and total nonsense, and that the whole time I'd been standing there this feeling of some consuming black hole had just been silently growing close to me again. As soon as I realized, I left right away and just kept walking. Weird detail, I guess, but that whole run-in with the church guy has really stuck with me. It legitimately felt like he was just trying to lure me in with some distraction and slow me down from getting that black hole feeling out of me. If that makes any sense. After that, all of it kind of just calmed down and things went normal again. I made my way back to the apartment I was staying at, and things were kinda usual again. I left the next morning. I've not really had any incidents of that intensity since, but I've definitely had a lot of constant small stuff going on and have continued to feel like whatever that was has just been kind of lurking and waiting till I'm vulnerable again. Sorry if this whole couple posts don't make a lot of sense. There's so much just unexplainable feeling and thought that I experienced, and I'm also tired and trying to avoid sounding like some kind of crackpot. Be me. 7 to 8 years old. Have this aunt who tends to take me with her to do shopping and stuff around the town. She is well known in town and people often invite her to their houses. She is also known for being into magic and weird stuff.
Okay, love is done. Just kidding. I'm just kidders. Oh, God. Uh, almost finished. Let me just. There it is.
Mom once told me she found a voodoo doll when she and my aunt used to share the same bedroom. One Sunday, we go visit one of her friends. Old house, 2 floors, rustic, lots of trees in the property. We go inside. 3 p.m., plenty of light outside, but for some reason the house is very dark inside, no lights on. We go to the 2nd floor. Aunt greets friend, old lady, and they start talking. Notice 2 kids sitting in a couch watching TV. Can only see their backs. Aunt goes with friend to one of the rooms as they continue talking. I just stand there watching the 2 kids and the TV. Suddenly, the kids stand up and start staring at me. There is this sort of green slime coming out of their mouths. They start chewing the green slime in a weird way as they keep staring directly at me. There is green slime all around their mouths and jaws, even some dropping into the floor. Don't know how to react, but I know I'm terrified. Run downstairs in fear. Wait there alone for around 20 minutes until I hear my aunt coming. We walk off the house. Never mentioned a word to anyone, didn't ask my aunt about the place or the people. 25 now. Still get the chills when I remember this. To this day
Oh man, I don't know what it is. Oh, just this wash of fatigue is just pouring down my head, making me want to go back to sleep. But no, I gotta get work done. I gotta stay up for class. No class tomorrow though. That's right. I almost forgot. So tomorrow I'll do my laundry and not have to like fucking worry about too much stuff. Just some homework. I have some assignments due today though, so that's why I'm holding off laundry until tomorrow so I can get those assignments done today. Today. Shit. I hope I didn't miss any assignments or tests. Man. Okay, that was Thursday. That was the quiz. Got that done. 140 quiz 2. I guess there was a quiz extension because there was like some issue with it. But I already got the quiz done. That was the day like the freaking test website went down and it didn't come back up until like an hour to the due date. So I jumped on there and fucking got that quiz done and out of the way. I don't believe I've seen this yet. Oh shit. Lab 6. This one's due today too. Fuck. Oh, I just have to watch a video. Okay, cool. So my workload today isn't as big as I was afraid it was going to be, but there's like a research paper I have to do. So yeah. Melody says, "Go stop the stream and wake yourself up." That's what the coffee is for. God damn it, coffee! What are you doing in there? Stop fucking around! Just yelling at my phone. Okay. Ugh. I don't know what the part. I don't know. Ugh.
I don't know what that was, but it was pretty frigging scary. The kids looked very weird and I still cannot explain what was that green slime coming out of their mouths.
It was
On
Ninja
July
Turtle
24th,
ooze.
2010 we were over at one of my cousin's house for my brother's birthday and I for whatever reason looked out the sliding door to the backyard and I shit you not I seen a flying ice cream van / ambulance with a shit ton of different red and white blinking lights scattered around the exterior. The flying van was about 100 feet high more or less. I started screaming flying car. Flying car. But my least credible cousin was the only one to notice me and as he looked it was already almost gone, flew directly above overhead, and all he said was ooh that did look like a flying car. This is one of the most unbelievable / outlandish things I have ever seen. I'll share with you a small piece of my soul. It's the most frightening experience.
Okay. Some of these stories are shit, and like the narration is bad simply because it just lacks so much character. So let me pick a different one. Shut up, dogs! Yogi! I know that's you out there. Knock it off! That sounds like either Dana or Stitch down the way. Got Yogi barking again. Damn it. Oh. Looks like I was like partway through this one. This one was aired 10 months ago. And it looks like I only listened to a portion of it. So let's put this one back up.
Fucking
Me go back a bit.
boy, do I have a story for you guys. This all started about 1 month ago in New Mexico.
New
Be me.
Mexico.
High school student friends, one college friend. Let's call high school friends 1 and 2, M and B. College friend is D. D has a great idea. Let's go camping. We all get in D's flatbed pickup truck, go to random areas, don't know where we really went. Not good with locations / directions.
Oh,
I bring
great.
a small cooler, dinner, sodas, and card games. M brought a fire starting kit, B was kinda a fuckwat so he didn't bring shit. D brings a car, and flashlights, with batteries. We all had our own pillows and bedrolls we got from some shitty camping store up north. We get there and set up. B forgot his 3DS, whines about it a little. We all took shots making fun of him. Night comes, and we all start to get tired. We all decided we'd try to stay up until we passed out. Everyone but me fucking passes out. For some strange fucking reason, I can't sleep. Tired, but something is bothering me. CB, get up, he has to piss. He walks over to a rock to go pee. M and D wake up because of him. We all start to talk, they're less tired. A while passes by, B doesn't come back, M gets worried. We hear B screaming like he's being attacked by coyotes or some shit. M follows B. D and I stay slightly worried, not talking normally. Get flashlights and get ready to come after them. They come back anyways. Friends seem off, can see their complexion is 10x lighter in the light of the fire. But the biggest red flag. They're both bleeding, and from the same spot, but don't say anything about it. D asks, what happened? They say the both fell and cut themselves on rock trying to help each other up. Why did they fall? They're acting really off, and we're getting freaked the fuck out. D whispers to me, and tells me to run to the car without anything as soon as we can. We do. Crack the window down and tell them to sit in the bed of the truck. They leave our shit behind, and do as we say. D drives us all back home. We never speak to M and B again.
Yeah, right.
First, an old story from my dad about his time revisiting his mother in the red.
Sounds like a wannabe, like, Skinwalker story. Ooh, oh shit. Like, first red flag was like, oh, I don't know where we were. Like, you can't even, like, friggin' tell us the general area, like the township nearby or anything. Yeah, we were driving around here and there, blah, blah, blah. I don't know where we ended up. So lame already. And his friends going into the wilderness and then coming back acting strange. I just like to shit on fucking shitty Skinwalker fanfics.
This was in the 60s or 70s, I think, and whenever I see a thread about skinwalkers, it shows how much people just up the spook and gore factor of things for whatever reason.
Right?
Be my dad revisiting mother's house. TOF, get in touch with family after name. Brother, mother, aunt, and brother's wife are all in this dusty trailer in the middle of fucking nowhere. Dad's getting ready to head out when a loud series of bangs hits the side of the trailer and then a large scurrying is heard just outside the door. Dad looks at his brothers and proceeds to gather their weapons. A .38 Special and .45 Auto along with various long knives. They proceed outside into the dark night and round about the trailer a few times with no luck on seeing whatever was outside. After about a half hour of patrol, my uncle decides to go back inside, but my dad says he'll go check in his truck in case some drunks decide to break into it. Common problem. As my dad is walking to the truck, he glances out towards the dirt driveway and notices a figure sitting hunched over in the darkness. My dad plays it off and continues to look at his truck until he runs over to the figure. As he's about 20 feet away, the figure stands up, revealing to be a man about 5'6", and before he has the chance to run away, my dad shoots his .45 in the air as a warning. The man immediately sits back down and my dad grabs him by the back of his neck and brings him into the porch light. This guy is wearing animal skins, and I'm not talking about treated and finely snipped and taxed animal skins. Still bloody and very warm to the touch, leaving an occasional drop of blood on the ground. My dad realizes what this guy is and proceeds to throw him into the trailer and onto a couch inside. My dad tells his brother to call the cops, and while my uncle is doing so, my dad is keeping this man pinned to the couch by the barrel of his .45. After about 25 minutes, there's a knock at the door. Expecting it to be the police, They opened the door only to find a disgruntled native family. They explain that the man they held hostage is their son and that they are taking him home and that they will regret this. They take the man and are never seen again. That's about it. Save for a few years later when my dad's dad, my grandfather of course, died and they received a package full of deer bones in an unmarked manila envelope. Sorry for the individual comment and any spelling mistakes. I am on the phone. I have a few more stories as well. Another story. This one's about a
That story
few
was
friends
shit.
who worked out in the oil field. This is out near Hogback if any of you know what that is.
Hogback.
It's a tiny town with mountains that are a geologist's wet dream because they are rising from the fractures in the tectonic plates and you can see all the volcanic activity that was happening in New Mexico in the past.
Yep, like around Hogback. It looks like two. Oh, I wouldn't call it. Oh shit! What are they called? Fault lines. It's like fault lines where the like two portions of land kind of like crashed into each other, and one of them kind of like digs down while the other one shoots up, and that's where the rock formations are coming from. And you have like all these like jagged rocks just kind of like pointing like straight up into the sky. And I think that I don't know how far that goes, but it goes almost as far as you can see. But yeah, this story might be legit then.
Amidst the rock layers in the side of the mountain. Anyways, this guy and his buddy are wrapping up a day of work. Locking up mechanisms, securing supplies, whatever. I never worked in the oil field and I pray I never do. In the middle of the job site are these large concrete tubes and they're about 5 foot tall. As my buddy is walking around making sure everything is up to OSHA standard, he looks inside these tubes for drunks. Again, common problem. He sees the outline of a strange shape and as his eyes adjust from the aggressive desert sun he realizes. It's a big fucking lizard. Fucker had to have been at least 20 feet long because the tubes were 40 and he took up half the length of these things. My buddy said, imagine a Komodo dragon but way bigger and not as green. My buddy and his coworker decide that they should just leave before Truckzilla decides it's hungry. A few sessions from fellow employees confirm their suspicions and they soon finish the job and never return. Apparently it's been sighted before in the surrounding area and is sort of a legend.
Damn.
I had a friend who lived in Lamy, New Mexico. All kinds of spoopy shit was always going on there. One night we were chilling on her porch and we heard the train coming. She lived on the street across the tracks and it was nothing new, but as it got closer we noticed something, no lights. The train blasts through the station without stopping, fast and loud as shit. We never got a look at it cause it was pitch black and the entire train had not one light on. Her mom knew a lot of things about that town but would never go into details. She told us if that train ever stopped, no matter what, never get on it. Another story, and I'm not green texting, so fuck off. I stayed over at her house a lot and her family was always going off about how the house used to be an old brothel and was haunted, but I had stayed over tons of times and nothing ever happened. Her mom told me about one spirit named Henry who was very active. He was a nice guy and didn't want to spook no one. She told me if I ever saw him and was afraid just to tell him I was scared and to please leave. One night she pissed me off. I forget how. I always sleep on the floor of her room, so I go to sleep on the couch. I'm going to bed and I just can feel someone in the room, so I turn around to tell her to fuck off and I freeze. In the entryway there is someone there. I can't see them but I just know they are there. Then I notice a vague outline, almost like a blurry outline of a man's shape, and the longer I stare the more I can see it almost moving like someone breathing. I say, "Henry, please go, I'm afraid." Fucking thing moves and walks into the other room. Looked like a heat haze of a man walking. Nope. Fucking run into her room in a panic, grab my shit. She's telling me to calm down. The whole house is awake at this point. I'm losing my shit, jump in my car and I am out. I'm speeding down the back dirt roads of Lamy at like 3 a.m. and I notice a light coming up fast behind me. Now a little backstory: in Lamy there lived this trailer park asshole who had a trash car with one headlight, who would always speed down the roads, almost hitting people, hitting people's pets and forcing people off the road. He did it to me a few times, but I was riding on such an adrenaline rush after meeting Henry that I...
Okay, what are these dogs?
was like, "Not tonight, fucker." So I gun it. I'm speeding down the roads fast as shit and this idiot is still gaining on me. My car was a piece of shit, me being a high school student at the time, so it was overheating and my engine is making horrible noises and this fucker is right on my ass. At this point I can't slow down. This guy is so close to me and I'm worried that if I try to pull over to the side of the dirt road I'm going to flip my car. Before I can make up my mind what to do, the single light shoots straight up into the sky. I slow my car down and look out my window, and behind me the light is just hovering in the sky, maybe 40 feet, then it shoots off fast across the sky. I sit in my car for about 20 minutes in the middle of the dirt road doing nothing. Finally get my hands to stop shaking enough to light up a smoke, then drive home. I lived about an hour away. Never spent the night at my friend's house again and never really liked staying there after dark. One more. This takes place after the Henry story. I finally calmed down enough to hang out past dark and I'm thinking of staying over that night. Her parents are gone for the night, so it's just me, my friend, her sister and probably Henry. Her sister is on the computer. All the lights in the house are out and me and my friend are chilling outside, laying on the hood of my car smoking cigs and talking about how hard life was because we were in high school and no one understood us, all that friendly bullshit. We heard a noise in the bushes but thought nothing of it because she had big dogs and those fuckers were always running around at night. Then the noise gets louder and we hear a grunting wet animal noise. Oh shit. It's pitch black and we only have a lighter on us. I left my keys inside and my car was locked. More noise. I tell her to start moving to her house slowly. We slide off the hood and bam, the bushes erupt into noise. A bleeding sound comes from that direction and something is charging us and we run. Now my friend had a self-preservation instinct that was dick level. She once tripped me when we pissed off a bull and it charged us when we didn't notice a break in the fence that was holding it, so once again I bite it to the ground as she once again tripped me to get away. She made it to the
What a
front
fucking
door
bitch.
screaming all the way, and I'm up in 3 seconds behind her, and the bitch slams the door on me and locks it.
Oh
I'm
god.
outside banging on the door screaming for her to let me the fuck in. Meanwhile, the demon skinwalker devil hound from hell is grunting and charging me from behind. It's almost on me. It's huge. I can smell its stink and its rancid breath. Then her sister opens the door and I burst in and we slam the door. Something huge collides with the door, shaking it, and she's screaming, "What the fuck was that?" We lock everything, the doors, the windows, the dogs are outside, but they won't come when we call them through the dog door. Fuck, too late for them. We are inside scared as shit, not knowing what to do. We grab flashlights looking outside, seeing nothing. Then we see the bush moving and what looks like a huge eye. Nope. Run to her room like little bitches and wait out the night. The next morning her parents are home. We rush them as they come in trying to tell all three of our sides of the story all at once. Her parents are just looking at us not like we are crazy but like they believe us. Then her mom busts out laughing and takes us outside. The neighbor up the road's donkey had gotten loose and the fucker wandered over to her house in the night. That what the creature we had encountered. Strange how your mind can play tricks on you in the dark.
This one about my dad's ex-wife, I believe. Be walking home at night along the side of a highway because I broke native. Complete darkness, only light is from the headlights of the occasional car that passes by. Halfway home a car's headlights illuminate the silhouette of a person far off from to her right in a close field. She chalks it up to being a farmer or whatever and tries to calm herself down because she has to make it home. About 5 minutes later she's overtaken by the sound of someone running behind her. As a strong independent native lady who is devout to God, she stops in her tracks and turns around, dropping her satchels and whatnot. She meets face to face with a man who was running on the ground on all fours. A brief minute of silence passes by and she exclaims that her God is stronger than any magic he may practice or God he may worship and that he could never harm her. After another brief pause, the person goes away off the side of the highway and she continues home with no incident.
I've got one from when I was really little.
Lame.
Be me, Aztec. About 3 to 4 or so, I can't remember too well. Mom was dating this asshole named Cain at the time. He had 3 kids, then there was me and my sister. We all got along fine, except for my mom and Cain, because he's an asshole. We live in an A-frame house, shitty place, with unsanitary water, cracked foundation, and cheap rent though. Apparently a few guys had self-ended themselves in that house. The second one stalked a sheriff's daughter. He hung himself in the attic after the cops found out. Be in the kitchen, it's night time, I'm getting a drink or something and I see something. There's a guy, just standing in the fucking kitchen, looking at me. Looks like a regular dude, he's just got his neck cocked to the side a bit, looks curiously at me. He disappears after I leave the kitchen. Mom, who's that guy in the kitchen?
What?
There's a guy in the kitchen, Mommy.
Ah.
Mom was really into the occult. She did a Ouija board with me when I was still in her womb. I also have an astral projection experience and my dad's dark mirror divination story if anyone's interested. Needless to say, we moved out a little bit after.
I'm from Albuquerque. I'll post a few. First one is my most memorable experience. Be me, 13 or 14. Riding around the Sandia foothills on my dirt bike, maybe 30 minutes from the northeast part of the city, over by the tram and that big tramway loop if anyone from Albuquerque is reading. Ride down into a big washed out area. Riding down a dirt arroyo, about 5 feet deep. Come up on a corner. There's a bunch of garbage piled up. Stop. Hop off my bike, wondering why there's so much shit here. Then the smell hits me. In the next curve of the S-bend of the gully is a pile of dead coyotes, probably 4 or 5, blood everywhere, bloody matted fur and shit. Flies everywhere. The smell is fucking awful. I can still see one of the coyote heads kinda leering at me from the pile. Put my face under my shirt to try and stand the smell. Retreat to the pile of garbage, look at what it actually is. Cans, bottles, some grocery bags. See rusty, bloody knife. Nope the fuck out. Ride my bike down the ditch for a few minutes, nothing else to see. Pull out of the ditch, nothing around on surface level. Ride back home fast as fuck. Tell my parents. They either don't believe me, or don't care, say it's no big deal. I think about this a lot and it sketches the fuck out of me that someone was out there just murdering coyotes. My parents are from New Mexico too, and from weirder parts than Albuquerque, so I think they know to just not question some of the weird shit that happens. Next one. Be me, 18. Backpacking and camping in the Gila National Forest. Just me, girlfriend, and my corgi. Deep in a woods, probably about 30 miles from where we parked the car. Set up camp for the night on the bank of a small stream, wide open gravel breach. Pretty flat tent is at the edge of the beach next to a hill to keep from wind. Stream is probably 40 feet away. Night falls. Girlfriend, corgi, and I are in tent, comfy. Outside is very quiet. Stream gurgle and some wind and crickets is all there is to hear. Very late.
I feel a lot better.
Probably after midnight. We both wake to a loud crunching and dragging sound. Sounds like a tree being dragged across the beach.
I feel
like
awake
pull,
again.
Pull. No sound of feet or animal or anything. I take the tiniest peek out of the tent. On the bank of the river I see something tall. Silhouette had to be 10 plus feet tall. Silhouette is still.
What time is it?
I'm frozen cold. I have no idea what is out there.
I gotta get ready for class. Use the restroom one more time before class starts. So anyway, almost done with this piece. Actually, I might finish this piece off stream because it's that close to completion. All I want to do now is do like highlights for the hair, just like give it that sheen. But yeah, it was pretty much damn near done. So just go ahead and complete it. Maybe even during class. Anyway, thanks for watching, all those that did come by. Thank you to Melody, my moderator, for keeping me company. And oh, ow, my head. No, not again. I felt like I just woke up. Another bucket of fatigue is just like dousing me right on the head. Oh yes. Shoot. That's right. I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, oh, can't forget the fur patterns on the thighs there. Totally forgot. But that's what Melody's here for. She reminds me of some of these things. So yeah. So to any of the lurkers who are watching or the people watching later, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, share, subscribe, ring that notification bell. And if you really like what you saw, feel free to donate to my Ko-fi page. The link is in the description section below. So yeah, until next time, this has been Johnston Blackhorse, the one and only, and I shall check y'all later. Sweet. Bye.